of those. That's going on. No doubt. Williams just sizing that up. Well, Price was just backing up, and Williams just made one.
You just tell, can't you, when a guy's ready to shoot it?
Had to look. Starson.
Williams being out, that you could get an uptick of points and production out of him. Very talented freshman.
Yeah, had a good year. All freshman team in this West Coast Conference. LeJuan Watts trying to feed the post. Ethan Price, good big man outside shooter, makes the three. Being holding.
Very touchy-feely.
Obvious.
Like, just put your hands down and keep them wide and show your palms to the official.
Robbie Beasley hounding Calmese, double team. They got out of it and found Price, who dunks it home. Semifinals, lead back to 10.
He has played so well. The two of them just combined how in sync they've been.
Yeah, I mean, you know why Robbie hasn't played as much this year. All the good guard play. Watts dishes to Price, and he scores along the.
And they don't focus on post-up opportunities a lot unless they get a switch. Just as in that case, Eric Strupp had Johnston on him after that pick and roll up top.
LeJuan Watts tried a tough wraparound pass, and he got it there somehow.
Sessions goes from straight away. As mentioned, he can get hot in a hurry. Couple 30-point outbursts when he was at San Jose State.
Watts passes to Price, cutting to the basket. Watts, another great feed. Ethan Price.
East doesn't see an opportunity.
Watts gets it back to Calmese. They didn't guard him, and he makes the three. Crossover move. Three. No good. Watts followed his own miss, though, and kept it alive, and Eric Strupp lays it in.
Tonight's first basket being brought to you by University Credit Union. And tonight's game being brought to you by Westneck BMW. Outside, the three-point shot is good.
Close out on Zion because they know he's dangerous from three. I like the patience and then the feathery touch on the floater in the lane.
10-7 Pepperdine. Andy Okafor, who's 6'9", 245, a big physical presence. Alonzo Fourier into the game for Pepperdine, 6'10", 230 from Spain. Outside, three-point shot is good, 7%. When both teams shooting as cold as they are, rebounding becomes a factor. Rays have the edge 13-11. All right, Cougars have it. There's LeJuan Watts out in front. Three-point shot by Ethan. Taja Duke is sparked. Pepperdine, Odom, lob it for Buka. Ball gets away. Pepperdine with the turnover. Back and forth they go. Price, lay it up and score. 2-1 full court press with Duke and O'Bara, the two freshmen, picking up. As you see, Ethan Price, that's 6'10", hit the ball to Calmese. Shot clock has been turned off, so the Cougars will work for the final shot of the half. We're down to 13 seconds. Isaiah Watts waits in the zone. LeJuan Watts lob it to Price. Turns along the baseline, puts it up and in. It is 60-53. The Waves down by 7. 11:50 to play. Washington State will leave the West Coast Conference with Oregon State and Gonzaga to the newly formed Pac-12 July 1st, 2026. It's LeJuan Watts. Top of the key favors. Three-pointer, good. Go to Odom. He'll stop and shoot a three. That's no good. Tipped inside by Fourier. Here comes Washington State. Right back quickly. Inside driving, laying it in. And he's got 12. Waves will pick up in the backcourt. And it will be Ethan Price. And he gets it to LeJuan Watts, to Calmese, who's not had a big game, only 4 points on 2 of 13 shooting. He kicks it outside, goes to LeJuan Watts. He's in deep, double team, gives it to Okafor, slams it in. Up in the backcourt. That's Schilling along the sidelines. Ball comes in. Tonight's game brought to you by Westneck BMW. This is Calmese out of the backcourt. Very crafty guard, the transfer from the University of Washington. Veteran guard, top of the key. 13 on the shot clock, 2:35 on the game clock. They go down low to LeJuan Watts, fumbles it. Calmese gets it back and lays it in.
Well, then they won 25 last year.
This weekend will determine where they finish. Right now, the Cougs would only get
one bye. They would have to win 5 straight nights in the WC.
Well, we always played them. We played Cal State. Now they were Division II, and we were
Right.
Division I. So
this is when Dan. This is when Dan was at USF and in charge of non-conference scheduling.
Yes, I was definitely in charge of scheduling. And by the way, Hawaii every 3 years.
And there's a 3 by Parker Garrett to Clay Thompson's number.
Clay, and of course, Budakis played for George Raveling. George went to Maryland. He played for Lefty Drizel.
That's why you've got to say this is absolutely fascinating as Jamerson follows. It's an 8-point game.
Yeah, now the game is not over.
Washington State,
and I believe only has one timeout left.
Only one timeout. 19 Cougar turnovers now in the game.
Yeah, and most of them in the second half.
And it's an obvious nice feed. LeJuan Watts sets up. Trying to go in, comes out. Duckett has to go. Oh, he lost it on the dribble. And there's what should put it away for the Cougars.
And he can't get the short hook to go. Carlos Stewart, he's off the mark as well. Here come the Cougars. All right, Eric Strupp, and it's Calmes who's going to set it up. LeJuan Watts inside to Eric Strupp. How about this? Washington parts of the Palouse, great agriculture out here. It's just so peaceful and serene. You got the rolling mountains. It is a beauty. Favors, he's trying to get rolling for hard.
Great body control and using that backboard. Young players at home, if you're watching, always use that backboard if you can.
And Rahard Favors, again, LeJuan Watts, he's a big deal as Favors hits a 3.
State and Houston, #1 Auburn hosting Georgia. In the SEC again, you got Alabama and Kentucky.
Gonzaga's rhythm with, be it slowing the tempo like St. Mary's does, being physical, changing defenses. You've got to disrupt their rhythm.
Gonzaga's single-season assist record. He's already set the WCC in-conference assist record with a lot more basketball to be played. But his head coach has moved. Innocenti, no good. Think about offense.
He already has 7 offensive rebounds. St. Mary's does. Watts kicks it out to the other Watts. No relation except this great start. Watts tried to take it away from him and then blocked by the other Watts, Isaiah Watts. Double teamed by the Watts. Up ahead to Thrasterson. Ball comes out to Isaiah Watts. Price has a good look. Perfect.
Wow.
Ross over the timeline to Mikey Lewis, who launches a 3 with a lot of time on the shot clock. Not normally what St. Mary's does. Isaiah Watts for 3.
USF last year, no longer unusual to see guys playing 3 or 4 schools. That's Dorovich. This is his 3rd stop. And there's an and one. Nice game.
Post play. I just don't see much of it anymore.
Back to the basket. What's that?
Yeah.
Pete Newell's looking down from above going, come on. The great Pete Newell.
Traveled.
Isaiah Watts buries it. I never thought I'd use the term journeyman basketball player in college, but you have 2 players on the Pepperdine team for whom Pepperdine is their 4th school.
And it's just not uncommon.
No. It's Saunders, who we saw briefly, and Bethea. Bethea partly because one school, St. Francis in Brooklyn, disbanded, dropped their program. Oh, nice flip by Watts, and Eric Strupp finishes. And they had a clean look.
Oh, no. To the well once too often that time.
Eric Strupp was back. Favors clean look. From the top, Harden's Favors. In a way I don't think any other league does. It really rewards the regular season.
Yes.
And if you are outside the top 4, you really have a tough time. You have to play a lot of games. There's a good
shooter open, but double him, get it out of his hands, and then deny him, and make somebody else have to be a creator.
Here it's Calmise off the ball with Price trapped. Calmise coming to the rescue. Instead, look at that cross-court spot. Oh, that's really big. LeJuan.
Just like that, coach, a one-possession game.
That turn hurts this team, enjoys coaching them, enjoys being around them.
Washington State has 4 players with 2 fouls. It's something they have to watch. And of course, they have Eric Strip with the 3 fouls. Price started this game off hot, and maybe he'll heat up.
You know, the conversation early in the game was Oregon State shouldn't be too disappointed because they're not playing great and they're still in the game. Flip it right now. Washington State's not playing very well.
Hard to tell who it went on.
I think they got it right. The last 2 minutes is not here, so they can't review it, but I think they got it right on the first try.
And Stockton is Tyrone Riley has the first USF bucket tonight from long range. Another freshman trying to build off the strong performance here last Saturday at 16 against the Toreros. Averages double figures here in his first collegiate season. LeJuan Watts out to Price. Another one. This one cashes in.
Pacific played here at the Spanos Center was a week ago, and they lost to LMU 73-68 as Calmise knocks down a 3 from the near. Shot clock winding down, 4 to go, and Elijah Fisher unable to finish. Washington State with the miss. Reeve Avers is going to take a 3 from the left side and knock it down. To go in regulation. Fisher drives. Fisher, tough finish, and he can't get it to go. Under duress was Elijah Fisher there. Another chance for Washington State to grab the lead. Watts for 3 from 1.
Because you've got the bench guards in for Washington State, Parker Garretts and Case Wynot, and Calmise is on the bench with 2 fouls.
With Isaiah Watts being out now for a number of weeks with an injured hand, it's given Parker Garretts the opportunity. He has played well, not much of a scorer, but he does a terrific job getting him into offense.
Seal and a bucket. Ball to start the half. He had 10 points. Both teams shot the ball extremely well, and here we go. Second half of the Palouse in the West Coast Conference. Calmise, that's Price, that's a 3. Barrett trying to get it inside. Saxon turned away. Calmise waits for a screen. Little backdoor cut. St. Mary's very big inside, obviously, with Saxon and Morauskas. Eric Strupp off the glass. Eric Strupp hit the deck. And look at this run, a 9-0 run to draw within 1. That's the 3-point shooter. That's Favors. And
Tilly, aggressive drive, lefty lean miss. It's been tough to finish inside.
Yeah, it is. I think Tilly has an advantage in there. It's going to be interesting to see if they continue to give him down low.
Price drills it.
Body creates space for his layup. A terrific finish by Brian.
This is the largest margin the game has seen on either side. A couple of subs lurk at the table for Washington State. Watts. Favors wants the ball. He got it.
What a
I think the way the game is playing, I think you can let them play it out for a little bit. Sure, it's a gamble, but you can let them play and see where it goes.
He's on the bench for right now. But we'll see how quickly he may return. Minute change, dead ball means immediate. Watts, 6 to shoot. Price release and hit. This game
option thus far. Haven't seen him in the last couple of possessions, but I expect him to do it this possession.
Now to O'Neal, his second. He's now buried on the bench. Ryan's been there for some time with 2 since the 9:15 mark. Watts, good lead. Price bucket. David Riley thought that he took a stride there and traveled under a minute. Favors, yes! First, Erikstra thought about the transition 3. Price on high, hits heel. Calmes saves it. Price wants it on the right block. Rosterson. Watts, dump to Price. Spin and sink.
Yeah, Price has a match.
End-line drive on Mahi. Okafor, strong over ball, yes. And a technical kiss make.
This is a terrific ball movement by Santa Clara to get to the other side. And O'Neal recognizing that they were going to run him off the 3, made a great drive to the basket for easy 2.
Okafor screen, Watts trying to thread the needle. Okafor fights through. He gets fed. End-line drive. Lead for Mahi, can't handle. Loose on the deck. Here come the Cougars. Watts, no look. Oh, that was shades of Steve Nash. 3 to shoot. Rolls off the iron to Watts.
There's Watts with a rebound. Doing a little bit of everything. Right now, he's going to make a play.
Watts, Euro. Great lead. Price sinks it.
From downtown here at half number 1.
Excellent execution. There's a sloppy turnover right there. Really good execution out of the timeout.
And Erikstra comes flying in on the
strip. We're not on the same page. McKinnon got the open look. But going back to that Chris Austin foul, he did a good thing. He got Erikstra off the 3-point line.
Yeah, the downhill drive's not really where Dane wants to be in his game, either set up down there or launching it. 8 to shoot for LeJuan Watts. He's going to try to take Aussie Rab. Now he kicks out to Ethan
Price. Did a good job.
And Ethan Price, that's why.
In the history of Australian basketball.
They said Austin's foot was on the line, so they signaled it as a 2. Parker Garrett gets a chance for 3.
Would become a more reliable 3-point shooter. He's under 30%. I think he has the stroke. Just needs to get a little more confidence. Another freshman playing big minutes for Shante Legends.
He had a big confidence-building game, scoring 12 points against Gonzaga. Then Calmes answers back for the Cougars.
Well, so 18:54 left to go. This one's on Webb. His first. Fluid pick up his first as well. Watts for Calmes. Up top for Price with that early 3. Erikstra, 10 left to shoot. Watts at a Bullard High School in Fresno. Out for Calmes for 3. It's good. And back-to-back 3.
The pregame, he is somebody to be worried about if you're San Diego. Already off to a pretty good start.
And now he forces the steal. He'll get rewarded on the other end with a dunk, and it's 8-0. Appearance, the leading scorer this season for San Diego. True in the corner. He'll take the 3. That one bounces no good. Rebound inside to Washington State. Cougars maintain their 10-0 lead.
Not a bad way to start a game on a 10-0 run.
Watts into the corner. Erikstra for 3. That one will go. 13. This a 7-point game.
That's a 9-0 run for the Toreros here.
Well, just when Johnny sits down.
That's right.
Scoring goes hand in hand with Johnny Dean.
It's like him waking up early in the morning to watch them beat the Aztecs at Petco Park.
Washington State ends that run, getting a late scores with 11, including those 2 incredible highlight reel dunks. Calmes. Watts up top. Nice play underneath for Okafor, who lays it in.
And probably a lot of conflicted people in here. And we're underway at the McCarthy Athletic Center. Greg Heister, Richard Fox, courtside for this tilt. Game number 5 on the schedule in the West Coast Conference for GU. Here's LeJuan Watts, number 4, looking to go bounce to the post. Eric stripped the catch and finish.
The luxury of having a guy like Nolan Hickman, who's played a lot of point guard in his career. With Nembhard on the bench, it's going to be critical over the next few minutes that he can run the show.
Rasterson, open 3. He can do that.
Trying to do the Cougs, and they can get, narrow this lead down a bit.
Yeah, Gonzaga now 18 points off those Cougar defense or turnovers. But also this 0 for 4 start, those misses as good as a turnover. Yep. And it gets Gonzaga out in transition where they can be lethal. Corner 3, Rasterson. Boy, they need that shot.
Yeah, and
night, he's 0 for 2 tonight.
He's had 3 games with 20 plus to start conference play. I mean, he's a guy who can really fill it up. He hasn't even really had an opportunity. Just 2 shots taken.
Okafor. Why not? Now Calmise. Price on the post. He's got the smaller battle fronting him. But you saw Braden Huff back there helping. There's the jump hook by Price off the glass. Has outscored the Cougars in the second half 24-7. It's a 12-2 run right now. They've hit their last 5 shots.
And an avalanche here in the second half for Gonzaga.
Watts. Bounce. Garrett's good bucket. There you see.
One returnee, basically, in terms of rotation players, and he's out right now. The good news for Watts, though, is he will return. Putting on the brakes, outside look, Eric strip, you bet, and he shakes a cut and an easy bucket. Chinese international getting more minutes and starts with the injuries to USF.
Great son, he's a terrific three-point shooter.
Why not? And now Calmise, good hesitation, keeps the ball alive. Cut off, though,
this
by Wang.
Inside.
Yes, big time. You got to get it to Price.
This is the whole ball game for Washington State. That game feels very personal.
Yeah, you're right. 10 points now for Lingard. Eric Strip answers with the triple. And Thomas with 31. Remember, his career high is 35. Dumping it in low. Good hands. Rasterson.
16-1 run over that span of time.
And remember, we talked about Washington State being a team of runs. They've done it all year.
Times now, the only game that I struggled on was Washington, who spread them out and really drove the ball. So I want to make sure you can see a team that can defend the drive and continue to play that solid defense. On the offensive end, a team that understands how to get into the paint, give that one more pass, and shoot the ball.
And that is a great lineup. Porter to steal the run out the bucket. 5-3 LMU.
I think with both of these teams, you've got to take care of the ball because they turnovers, bad shots, they both love to get out and run and get easy buckets in transition.
With it. Good hard drive there. Parker Garrett's. He's in for Calmise. Eric struck with it. Backdoor cut. Good finish, Ethan.
Who's at Eastern.
Ide spinning. Cougars earned the basketball. Interesting conversation with Coach Riley today, and I was like, look, a lot of adversity is Okafor, the drive off the glass. Dad played at Duke back in the day, Dave Carewell. And LMU now with a 2-point lead at 28-26.
Come out to the press again. Remember, this press is designed to just make you take time off the clock. Then they settle into man or they settle into zone.
Rasmussen.
There's that skip pass.
Erikstrup bangs in another one.
3.
Oh, the flush. Great spin move off the catch by Alex Merkmeladze.
Too many looks in the paint right now for LMU.
Rasmussen, another corner 3.
A zone right now and just trying to give them LMU a different look.
Corner 3 is off by Amy. Explosion. Calmese at the other end. 3 team fouls on the Lions this half. Calmese trying to get it in, got it to Watts. LeJuan. Wycott. LeJuan had to run it down. 8 to shoot. LeJuan. The no look to Okafor.
Ball inside right now. McKinnon driving, pulls up just outside the paint. That's no good. Price, another opportunity. Andy Okafor has checked in along with Case Wynot for Washington State. It's going to be a smaller rotation for this Cougars team. They're dealing with 4 different injuries at Okafor. Nice touch.
Decent look there for Rapp, and a time to shoot the 3. He's got to take that when he's open right there.
Thrasterson gives it up to Watts. This is a good matchup right here. Austin stops Watts, but he kicks it out to Erikstrup. Oh, he's got his second.
NCAA, but the coaching change. David Riley, he was so successful at Eastern Washington, back-to-back Big Sky Coach of the Year winner. And there's a jumper that goes down. Almost had a steal. Bourne retrieves it. 10 on the shot clock. And there's a steal by Calmese. Open floor. Watts back to Calmese for the lay-in. Iowa with the momentum now. 10-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Garrett's. Erikstrup for Watts in the corner against Hudson. Thought about the jumper. Now inside, good look for Erikstrup. He lays it in.
With all 5 points for the Dogs early tonight.
Shot clock under 10 with the left hand off the glass. Erikstrup, the senior out of Beaver.
Game, man. He's 6'4". He's just going right to work.
Yeah, he looks like he was ready to play. highly rated recruit. Watts, a deep 3. Oh, and he connects. Arjun Davis started every game for Butler last year. He averaged about 14 a game. Price knocks it down.
He finally.
Cardenas down low. Buchanan to the baseline. Doesn't get the roll.
Boise State's gotten good looks early. They just got to hang in there. They're getting some good looks.
Calmese, who last year played at Washington, he was a freshman at Lamar a couple of years ago. Averaged nearly 18.
There's a mismatch. What a read by them. Erikstrup in the streets. Well, some of those nights covering your games, you had me sleeping. I think we were both sleeping in the street. Late at night.
6-point game. Washington State trying to set up some offense for Calmese. Erikstrup.
Good recovery by opposite.
They swing it to Watts from the corner. Shot fake.
Pretty
tough pass. How about that reverse?
Gorgeous. 40. I sent the note down. Dear Lou, I surrender. Love Bill. Do you want to play against a 2-3 zone? He shakes his head, said yes, and we gave him a 2-3 zone. But
that's
nobody
great.
Better to young people, to the game of basketball. Nice cut here by Watts.
Watts to Watts.
But he didn't know, are we that good? And I said, I thought you and Auburn were the 2 best teams. They both go out and lose.
Right.
So I think it's going to be just an extraordinary tournament. Just keep getting better.
Creighton was incredible when they finally got healthy.
Yeah, Creighton beat Kansas.
And now Pop Isaac's.
What a pass. Goodness, a back cut.
They recognize that. They didn't recognize it, that possession.
There's the double team. Oh, picked Isaiah Watts.
Why did he go so deep? He's got size. Just turn and elevate.
I think he's got to understand when he puts it on the floor, they're coming at him. He's got to know that before he puts it on the floor.
LeJuan Watts against Meadow.
This guy's tough.
That's skip
the
it.
pass they love.
Eric struck for three. It's good.
Killer.
For a few minutes. It won't be long though, right? He won't be out for long.
No, maybe to the timeout. You know, maybe a timeout. Louis got to really play big now. You know, others involved. Wow.
Isaiah Watts for three. It's good.
Early dagger.
And Ducell again. This time he hits the triple.
You leave a good three-point shooter open enough. Eventually one's going to go down. Ducell finally able to get one to fall.
Nice cut and drive on the other end for Rollison. Sophomore drives inside, can't get it to go. Himes gets the offensive board. Himes still trying to fight his way back up there, and he has his shot blocked. Some nice size on the interior from Washington State, as they've been tough on Love and Himes here early, in a three-pointer on the other side. Tyler Rollison, high off the glass, can't find it. That is 7 of 26 in the game, including 1 of 12 from the outside. Here's a quick three-point attempt on the other side, and it's buried. Makes a man miss, and Foster gets his first bucket. Good to see the return of Daniel Foster tonight. Bucket plus the foul for Washington State as they quickly race down to the on 12 of 42 shooting, 28.6%, which is just a huge shock after the offensive efficiency that we've seen from Nevada being one of the best in the nation. Inside for Price, who keeps it away from Tyler. Around Watson gets his first bucket of the night.
Great patience there by Trey Coleman, using his height advantage. He needs to be more aggressive on offense as well, having no points tonight. And more importantly, Nevada's got to get stops at this point, because if they can't get stops, they have no chance of coming back in this game.
Nevada's made their last 3 field goals after a scoreless drought of 4 minutes and 22 seconds.
For SMU tonight, replacing the 7-2 Yigatolu. A lot of depth on this squad for Andy Enfield. Kelmes buries the corner tray. 12th Washington State turnover. Collins rejected by Okafor and off the front rim. Watts on a bounce, and Okafor scores off the window. Side, they've had back-to-back connections. Douglas.
Not a good shot. Got to get a better shot than that one if you're the Fresno State Bulldogs.
LeJuan Watts wraps it around to Okafor for 2. Throws it down. 10-point game.
Got to get another stop. Got it to single digits.
Watts lets it fly. Yes, sir. Big 3.
Steps through the lane and scores.
And last possession, they try to get Nick McClain a post up as we see the outlet to LeJuan Watts.
Calmise, contact, and one!
Rim, and that's why the foul was called, is because he was trying to seal deep at the rim.
Inbound, Coward. Got his man out of position. Watts, Calmise in the corner. Now Eric Strupp. The block extended, kicks it back out. Eads have switched back to the zone. Watts. Thought about the 3. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Back cut to Isaiah. Goes up with the reverse and scores. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half here at the Spokane Arena.
And we see the Eagles back in this 3-2 extended zone. The problems that they've been having is giving up three-pointers and giving up offensive rebounds out of the zone.
Nearly a giveaway. LeJuan Watts able to save it, but Andrew Kirk was lurking. Mid-range jumper on the way from Coward.
He's putting the pressure on the rim, but it's about having balance. And that time he has balance and is able to get to a floater instead of really pressuring it towards the hoop.
46-25, the lead for the Cougars. Watts to Watts in the corner. Isaiah able to hit. I mean, State to open the season.
And Cougs fans are going to see more of that this year. Just the ability for multiple players to bring the ball up the court just makes it so tough, and that's why they're able to score so many points, because they can pick up the tempo and really push the pace.
Isaiah Watts over to Case. Why not? Excuse me. That's Actually, Tomas Barsterson.
Yeah, and Isaiah Watts was yelling at Tharcison, shoot your three, man. You get an opportunity to get in the game. You got to shoot it.
And another chance for the Cougars as Coward, second opportunity, again can't drop it down. And offensive rebound so far for Washington State.
Well, they're getting good shots. Ball is moving well. Just have to make them.
Eric Strupp, the turnaround off the window.
One of the things you love about
Shields, the give and go. Really's got to fire it up. Off balance three, and that one won't drop. LeJuan Watts pushing, knifing through the defenders, finds a trailing Price, who soars to the rack. Nice. High off the glass.
Pretty. He had the clock in his head, too, because he looked up at that shot clock, and he knew he had to get it up. Really soft off the window.
Three straight field goals made by Northern Colorado. Watts trying to answer down low. Back out, Calmes.
Good hands.
Eric Strupp falling away.
It up now, and they're right back in this game. Good ball movement right there. Really is the catalyst.
Again, a Northern Colorado team who can get hot. 5 straight field goals. Okafor.
I want to tell you that.
And at WCC Media Day, Cedric Coward said this is the closest team that he believes he's ever been with, and obviously playing with a trio of former teammates definitely helps as Coward rattles in the three, but overall, those
ready to erupt every time Freeman and Harding touch the ball.
I like it when Owen Freeman takes that three. Give what the defense gives you. He's already hit one on the year, and he's capable, and so is this guy.
Eric Strupp for three. If you leave him open, he'll make.
Well, that's just one where you get inside, you have to retreat, dribble, come back out, set it up, run your offense.
Cougars haven't scored in over 2 minutes. Until right now, good find underneath in the first. Here's Sanford. A strong 5 for 15 for Peyton tonight.
And he's had 2 good looks in the last couple possessions.
Coward spinning baseline. Good defense by Sanford. Wow,
he's so much stronger.
Spins again, and this time Coward able to get it off. Iowa by 1. .12 to shoot. Gonna have to hurry. LeJuan Watts driving in the scramble. Out to Price. Traffic clears. 3 is down.
Rebounded out with it for Idaho. Tyler Morris trying to lob Julius Mims. Just missed it off glass.
Julius Mims can get up. There's no doubt about it. That one looked like it was just an inch or two too high to make it a reasonable alley-oop.
You want a high jump title in Montana at 6 feet 9 inches, Julius Mims. And the Okafor showing that he can get up as well. Trying to drop it to Brickner. He's able to just save it. A 3 from Tyler Morris. It was raised by a Cougar. LeJuan Watts with his eyes up down the floor.
Morris waiting for a few seconds for that pass.
How about just splitting 2 defenders and with a head of steam getting to the lane for his first points?
He has a knack for that. I mean, he has just like a go button where he just speeds up so quickly, explosive to the rim. We saw that against UC Davis.
Coward gets double up on the baseline. LeJuan Watts finding Ethan Price, who's able time.
And Washington State, you'll see on the court both the Pac-12 logo, which they are still a member of, and the WCC, of which they are an affiliate.
Yeah, they're going to be an affiliate member for 2 years now, and it's going to be both they and Oregon State.
And so here we go. Bradley won its first game. They beat Southeast Missouri State, or as it's now known, SEMO. They did that on their home court in Peoria Monday night. The Cougs winning here against Portland State. And there's Ethan Price, another. And 3, a good look again there by Dane Eric. Strip it rimmed out, but the Cougs get it back, and Watts with a finish.
LeJuan Watts makes the play. Right away, Corey Thomas did a good job on the glass in the first half for Brian Warner.
Cougars score in this possession and start to have the first little stretch in the difference. LeJuan Watts takes it. Calmes fires. And there is the first double-digit lead of
I'm very surprised. I did not see him doing this at University of Washington at all. Another offensive rebound.
Ethan Price. And Price knocks down the three. So
bodying his way to the rack. And on the opposite end, Cedric Coward back out to Calmes.
So Wynot's first points.
Ethan Price buries it from deep. The big man showing the range from downtown.
Wow. The bigs tonight putting on a shooting clinic. How about a year ago, Curtis was 1 of 9 from 3.
Coward trying to answer, sticks it.